Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the mind of one of the most intriguing personality types out there, the INTJ. Specifically, we're going to explore what INTJs fear most and how these fears influence their lives and decisions. If you've ever wondered why INTJs act the way they do, or if you're an INTJ looking to understand your own fears better, this video is for you. We'll break down their fears like their struggle with a lack of control, their dread of failure, and their frustration with illogical actions. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer insight into what INTJ fear, why they fear it, and how knowing this can help you interact better with the INTJs in your life, or manage your own fears if you're an INTJ. So if you're ready to uncover the complexities behind what INTJ fear, stick around. You won't want to miss this deep dive into their psyche. Let's get started. Number 1, incompetence. The strong desire to excel and be competent in their endeavors often drives INTJs. This personality type sets high standards for themselves and constantly seeks ways to expand their knowledge and improve their skills. The fear of incompetence stems from their deep-seated need to feel capable and effective in handling challenges and solving problems. INTJs often experience significant stress and anxiety when perceived as incompetent or unable to meet their own or others' expectations. This fear motivates them to work meticulously and thoroughly on tasks. But it can also lead to perfectionism and an overly critical view of their own performance. Not only does the possibility of not achieving their set goals undermine their confidence, but it also erodes their sense of identity and purpose, which are closely linked to their intellectual and professional accomplishments. This intense focus on competence often makes INTJs reluctant to delegate tasks, as they might worry that others won't meet their stringent criteria for success. Consequently, they can sometimes isolate themselves professionally and personally, preferring to rely on their own abilities rather than face the unpredictability of others' performances. Number 2, emotional vulnerability. INTJs often harbor a fear of emotional vulnerability, as it can seem contradictory to their logical and reserved nature. This INTJ fear originates from a discomfort with expressing emotions, which they may view as a potential weakness or liability. Emotional exposure can make INTJs feel susceptible to judgment or manipulation, prompting them to maintain a composed and detached facade. This fear prompts them to steer clear of situations that demand deep emotional reactions, potentially impeding their capacity to establish intimate personal connections. The fear also manifests in a preference for objective discussions and a tendency to steer clear of emotionally charged conversations. Consequently, despite their depth of feeling, INTJs might struggle to connect on an emotional level, keeping others at a distance to protect their inner world. This protective mechanism, while serving to guard them against emotional harm, can inadvertently lead to feelings of loneliness or misunderstanding among their peers. The perception of INTJs as cold or aloof can further complicate their social interactions and relationships. Over time, they may need to consciously work on opening up and sharing their feelings to foster deeper connections and reduce the impact of this fear in their lives. Number 3, lack of control. One prominent aspect of INTJ's fear is the loss of control over situations or their environment. INTJs value structure and order, seeking to orchestrate the details of their lives and projects meticulously. This need stems from their preference for predictability and efficiency, which, according to them, maximizes the likelihood of success. The fear of losing control can be particularly distressing for INTJs, as it introduces uncertainty and unpredictability, elements they are inherently uncomfortable with. This anxiety over lack of control often drives INTJs to take charge in group settings or personal projects, ensuring that every aspect aligns with their vision and standards. They can become particularly stressed or irritated when unexpected changes disrupt their plans. This fear also influences their decision-making process, as they tend to favor scenarios where they can predict outcomes and minimize risks. Because of this fear, INTJs may also be reluctant to delegate their responsibilities or give jobs to other people, as doing so could introduce variables outside of their direct supervision. The challenge for them is to find balance, learning to adapt to situations that are beyond their control without excessive stress, thus improving their resilience and interpersonal relationships. Number 4, unpredictability. What INTJs fear significantly includes the unpredictability of their environment and life situations. This fear stems from their preference for planning and discomfort with scenarios that do not follow a predictable pattern or outcome. They thrive on structure and order, finding comfort in being able to anticipate what comes next. When faced with unpredictable circumstances, they often experience stress and anxiety. fearing that these conditions will disrupt their well-laid plans and strategies. This need for predictability is not just a preference, but a fundamental aspect of how INTJs navigate the world. They meticulously plan their actions and decisions, aiming to control as many variables as possible to ensure the desired outcome. The fear of unpredictability can manifest in both personal and professional contexts, leading INTJs to avoid taking risks that could result in unanticipated consequences. Handling unpredictability is a significant challenge for INTJs, as it tests their adaptability and flexibility, traits that are typically less developed in this personality type. Consequently, part of their growth involves learning to cope with and adapt to unexpected changes, which can help mitigate what INTJs fear about unpredictability and enhance their overall effectiveness and satisfaction in life. Number 5, failure. Failure is a significant component of what INTJs fear, deeply affecting their psyche and actions. INTJs are known for their high standards and relentless pursuit of excellence in every endeavor. They set ambitious goals and have a clear vision of what success looks like, which makes the prospect of failing particularly daunting. This fear of failure usually comes from a desire to be competent and preserve their reputation as dependable individuals. This fear can be a powerful motivator for INTJs, pushing them to prepare thoroughly and work with a high degree of diligence. However, it can also be a source of stress, leading to perfectionism and an unwillingness to take risks that could lead to significant rewards. Sometimes INTJs' fear of not achieving their goals prevents them from venturing into new or uncertain territories where success is uncertain. When INTJs encounter failure, it can provoke deep introspection, prompting them to analyze what went wrong and how they can prevent similar outcomes in the future. So INTJs fear failure not just because of the immediate setback, but because it suggests their methods were flawed, which challenges their self-image and intellectual self-esteem. Number 6, ignorance. What INTJs fear prominently includes being perceived as ignorant or uninformed about topics that are important to them. INTJs place a high value on knowledge and intellect, and they continuously seek to expand their understanding of the world. This fear arises from insufficient information and affects their identity and others' perceptions of them. Being well-informed and knowledgeable empowers INTJs to make logical and reasoned decisions, which are core to their way of functioning. The fear of ignorance drives INTJs to be lifelong learners, often immersing themselves in complex and challenging subjects. They strive to be experts in their fields and can become intensely focused on accumulating a vast store of information. This pursuit is driven by their desire to avoid situations where they can't contribute meaningfully or make informed decisions. This fear can also lead to them being too judgmental of themselves when they encounter areas where their knowledge is lacking. It can create pressure to always stay ahead, sometimes at the expense of their social relationships. Addressing INTJ's fear in this context often involves learning to accept that it's impossible to know everything, and understanding that sometimes it's okay to rely on the expertise of others. Number 7, illogical action. What INTJs fear greatly includes encountering illogical actions and decisions, especially in environments where they must rely on others. In all aspects of life, INTJs are deeply analytical and logical, and they highly value reason and structured thinking. When faced with decisions that appear irrational or poorly thought out, INTJs may become frustrated and anxious, as this challenges their logical understanding of how things should proceed. This fear of illogical actions is more than just a preference for logic. It is a core aspect of their personality that affects how they interact with the world around them. INTJs thrive on predictability and rationality, and when these are absent, it undermines their confidence in their ability to navigate their environment. This can lead to a heightened sense of insecurity, particularly in professional settings or group projects where collaborative decision-making is important. What INTJs fear in this realm is that they will become dismissive or intolerant of perspectives that do not align with their own, potentially leading to misunderstandings. To manage this fear, they may need to develop greater tolerance for diverse thinking styles and learn to communicate their need for logical consistency while respecting different viewpoints. Number 8, stagnation. For INTJs, stagnation is a profound concern due to their inherent drive to continuously grow and evolve. INTJs fear stagnation in their careers, personal development, or intellectual pursuits. This fear often motivates them to seek new challenges and ensures that they are constantly pushing their boundaries to expand their skills and knowledge. The prospect of stagnation can be particularly distressing because INTJs place a high value on progress and efficiency, viewing any halt in progress as a failure to realize their potential. The fear of stagnation often pushes INTJs to set increasingly higher goals for themselves, sometimes to the point of overextension. It also makes them restless in situations where they perceive little opportunity for advancement or learning. In such cases, INTJs might become demotivated, leading to dissatisfaction with their current circumstances. Addressing what INTJs fear in terms of stagnation requires finding a balance between their aspirations and their current reality. It may require them to cultivate patience and appreciate incremental progress. By learning to see value in steady, albeit slower, growth and developing strategies to remain engaged even in less than ideal conditions, INTJs can mitigate the impacts of this fear on their mental and emotional well-being. Number 9. Social conformity. Social conformity is a daunting prospect for INTJs, who highly prize their individuality and intellectual independence. They fear losing their unique identity by adhering too closely to societal norms, or blending into the crowd without expressing their true selves. This fear stems from their deep-seated need to remain authentic and true to their principles, even if it means standing apart from others. The pressure to conform can be particularly challenging for INTJs, as they often hold unconventional views that may not align with mainstream expectations. In terms of social conformity, what INTJs fear is not just superficial adherence to social norms, but a deeper compromise of their values and beliefs. This fear can cause them to withdraw from social interactions, where conformity seems requisite for acceptance. It may also lead them to resist or challenge social structures that they perceive as restrictive or illogical. INTJs often seek environments that value diversity of thought and individuality as a coping mechanism for their fear of social conformity. Developing a network of like-minded individuals who respect and encourage their need for authenticity can help INTJs feel more secure in maintaining their independence, while still engaging meaningfully with the world around them.